All right, today we're diving deep into a wild, remote corner of South America, French Guiana. It's a land almost completely blanketed in pristine rainforest, and we're here to uncover the secrets of its most clever inhabitants, the orchids.
Okay, get this. There's a flower out there that literally shoots its pollen like a cannon. Seriously, when an insect touches it in just the right spot, it violently fires its pollen, gluing it right onto the back of the unsuspecting bee.
And if you think that's wild, there's another one that lures bees in with this irresistible scent, only to make them slip and fall into a bucket of liquid. The only way out is a special escape hatch that guarantees pollination.
I mean, this sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? But it's real. These are actual strategies that have evolved over millions of years. So it begs the question, how on earth did this one family of plants become the most creative and complex engineers in the natural world? Let's figure it out.
So to understand this, we've got to start with the basic challenge. If you're a plant in French Guiana, your entire life is a constant fight for one single thing: sunlight.
I mean, look at this number. A whopping 95.5% of this place is just dense, untouched rainforest. And down on the forest floor, it's dark. Super dark. Barely any of the sun's energy ever makes it to the ground. For a little plant trying to grow, well, it's a really, really tough spot to be in. But here's the crazy part. Even with that challenge, scientists have found something like 410 different species of orchids here. So if the forest floor is basically a no-go zone for sunlight, how did they all manage to survive? Simple. They went up.
This was the orchid's big move, their evolutionary checkmate, really. They just decided to escape the darkness by colonizing the trees. They became masters of living on air.
Now, there's a technical term for this strategy. It's called being an epiphyte. An epiphyte is basically a plant that uses another, bigger plant, like a tree, just as a perch. It's a hack, really. A way to get way up into the sunlit canopy without having to grow a huge trunk yourself. And in French Guiana, a massive 85% of all orchids are epiphytes.
Okay, and we need to be super clear about this. Epiphytes are not parasites. Think of them more like tenants. They're just using the tree for support. They get all their water and nutrients from the rain, the air, and all the decomposing leaves that collect on the branches. They aren't stealing a thing from their host.
But life in the canopy isn't exactly a walk in the park. You've got intense sun, drying winds, and absolutely no soil. So orchids evolved this amazing little survival kit. Their roots have this spongy coating called velamen, which is like a super absorbent towel. It instantly soaks up any rain. And many of them have these thick, swollen stems called pseudobulbs. You can think of those as built-in canteens, storing water and food for the dry spells.
So just how well does this strategy work? Well, check this out. Researchers studied one single giant tree in French Guiana. One tree. And they found 74 different species of epiphytes living on it, from the bottom all the way up to its 41-meter-high crown. It's basically a skyscraper city of plants, with the orchid Maxillaria alba dominating the sunniest spots at the very top. Okay, so they've solved the problem of sunlight, but that just creates a new problem. How in the world do you get pollinated when you're living dozens of meters up in the air? And this, my friends, is where orchid evolution just gets absolutely mind-blowing. Remember that pollen cannon we talked about at the start? That's the work of the Catasetum orchid. A male bee gets drawn in by these irresistible fragrant oils. As it gathers the scent, it brushes against two tiny little antennae. That's the trigger. Instantly, the flower fires its pollen sacs with so much force that they stick like glue to the bee's back. It's a marvel of biomechanics. And what about that watery trap? This belongs to the Coryanthes, or the bucket orchid. It lures in male bees with a super powerful perfume. The bees become so engrossed, maybe even a little intoxicated, that they slip on the waxy surface of the flower and fall right into a fluid-filled bucket below. They can't fly out. The only escape is a tight little tunnel. And as the bee squeezes its way to freedom, the flower either scrapes off pollen from a previous visit or slaps a new packet on for the road. So while most orchids went for the treetops, the family's incredible adaptability, it doesn't stop there. They've also managed to conquer completely different worlds. And this adaptability creates this just stunning contrast. On one hand, you have these rare specialists, like this slipper orchid, Frangipedium lindleyanum, which clings to life on misty, bare granite mountains. And on the other, you have the ultimate opportunist, a species of Catasetum, found happily growing in the roof gutters of the capital city, Cayenne. The city itself has become a kind of artificial forest. The avenues lined with old mango and palm trees act as perfect new hosts. Species like the pink-flowered dimeranda and the fragrant epidendrum have turned these urban trees into vertical gardens, showing an incredible resilience and ability to adapt to our world.
All of this incredible diversity, from the most remote mountaintops all the way to a city street, represents a unique and, well, a pretty fragile natural heritage.
A lot of these species are endemic, which means you can only find them here, in French Guiana, and nowhere else on Earth. We're talking about bizarre plants like De Granvilla, an orchid that has given up on sunlight completely and gets its energy from fungi in the soil. Protecting this region means protecting species that are truly global treasures.
And conservationists have a really clever strategy. They focus on what's called an umbrella species, like that rock-dwelling Phragmipedium. Because it requires such a specific, pristine habitat, by protecting it, you automatically protect the entire ecosystem it depends on, all the other plants, insects, and animals that share its home. It becomes a protective umbrella for countless other organisms. And what's really amazing is that even today, botanists exploring the remote interior are finding orchids completely new to science. It leaves us with a final, tantalizing thought. After millions of years of evolution, creating pollen cannons and bucket traps, what other secrets, what other marvels of engineering are still waiting to be discovered in this incredible kingdom of flowers?